Okay, what is up guys? I'm going to be showing you today something about classes, how to create objects. So this is object-orientated program that I mentioned in the last session. I've just learned how to do the click and subscribe little icon, so you'll see that in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Fantastic. Now without further ado, let's just get straight into classes and functions. So let's just pretend we're creating a video game. So within our video game we want a bunch of variables and we want a bunch of functions to find what happens, like an attack function and a life force for variable, and what happens when, you know, how much energy is subtracted if you attack something, or what comes up, what does he say if you attack him. So we're going to put all those kind of features within our class. So a class is basically like a grouping placement for a bunch of variables and functions. So these variables and functions exist within this particular class. Just think of it as a classification or category. So create class, you do class, and then let's call your class enemy. So this is an enemy within a video game, enemy. Let's just write that correctly. Colon, and then press return, and then say something like this: life equals 4. So this is your variable. So this is within the class enemy. Your enemy has a life of 4, a life force of 4. So if you hit him, if you attack him 4 times, he dies or whatever. So I'm going to now write my function. So to do a function, you've got to write def, and that creates a function. So this is the attack function, and you have to write the word self in there. And with classes, whenever you get into classes and object-oriented program, you've got to start getting used to writing self. And all this basically means, it says self is calling any information within this class. It's calling. You'll see what I mean later on, but basically it's like an indexer. It calls information within this. So just take it for granted. It doesn't mean self of the enemy or anything like that. It's just a caller, an accessor of information within this class. So you've defined now your very first function, which I believe is called a method within a class. Let's just call it function. So like your print function. So it's basically something that's going to happen, and in this case it's going to attack the enemy. And when that happens, you've got to think about what you want it to do. So let's just say when it happens, the enemy says help. Okay, so it says help. So to do that, you have to use the function print to return a help command, and make sure these are in, you know, quotation marks, so it's a proper string. So like that, it wasn't a string, so I was going to get an error if I ran that. So now it's going to print back help. So that's what the enemy says if you attack him. He says help. What else happens? Self. Again, remember I'm calling self. Life. And the way to do this then would be minus equals 1. So that's basically minusing. That's how you write -1 energy from this life force. So again, self is here because basically it's calling this variable, information from this variable. So it's saying call this. That's all it's saying. Hence, don't worry what, you know, the weird word self. It's just calling this information. If you didn't have self there, it wouldn't access this information up here. And this only occurs within these classes and objects. So self -1. So what's going to happen is he says help and he subtracts 1 energy. Let's create a second function. Def check life, and to check rice, and then we've got to write self. That's not self. Self, and then a colon. Again, you know, do check these things. If you ever get that coming up, it's basically saying something's wrong. It's gone now, so it checks out. It seems fine. So again, def, so again a function, check life, self. So it's exactly like this. The only difference is that was an attack function. This is a check life. So it's basically saying, you know, if I call this out later, this command is basically going to check the life force, how much life force is left after this enemy's been attacked. So we're going to write an if self dot life. So this is just using pure logic. Is smaller than 0. So we do write 0. If it's smaller than 0, and if you continue doing a function, always have the colon there, so it knows go down. The colon basically says, right, go down 1 to continue. See, it's there, continue there. See, it's there, continue there. So if self life is smaller than 0, so again, it's taking this. That's why self is there. If self life is taking is 0, then we print I'm dying, and you can see I've got double quotations there because that's got that within the I and the M to pronounce I'm. So it wouldn't work if you had a single quotation mark like this. See, it's no longer a string because that becomes the string. So just make sure you got your double quotation marks in there like that, and then I'm dying becomes a single string. That's exactly what you want. So that's your functions. Oh no, we can actually write one further thing, else. So again, more logic. Else, what happens? So else means if you're not dying, what else happens? Again, it's logic. So if you're smaller than 0, you're smaller than a life force 0, you say I'm dying. Else means if not. What happens is you print. So this is telling the computer a string, str, and then you say self dot life. So it calls back basically you're printing your life force, how much life you have left, and then you can add to that and say print plus, and then just create a string, create a gap there because you want the number, which would be 3 if he's been attacked once, life left. That'll probably make sense more when it's actually written up. Just seeing why this is coming up as a print. Always check it. Print. So it's complaining about something. Print string. That looks correct. Self dot life. Oh, I know why. It's double. So it's closing it off here. Just remember when it does this automated thing, it's closing it off. There, it's gone now. So you basically wanted this as a full thing, and because it created double brackets there, it closes this section off. So it would have come up with an error for this. But now I've got the close that off and I put that bracket there. It will call this string command as a complete string command. So just save myself a headache. So if you get those little errors, do check what's wrong, because sometimes the Python Spyder will assume something and put a bracket in there, and you can give yourself a headache, but it usually tells you where the syntax error is. So we finished our functions. The next thing to do, we're going to create our objects. Finally, objects. We're going to create enemy 1. Now if I do enemy 1 equals this class enemy, and then like that, and that's all I need to do. It's basically saying this object enemy 1, take all the information, all these functions and variables from this class enemy. So it basically, this enemy 1 now incorporates all of this. Just goes straight into that. And that's why people like objects, because I can create an enemy 2, an enemy 3, an enemy 4, and I don't have to rewrite this every single time. It just immediately incorporates it. So the functionality with object-oriented programs, as I mentioned in the last session, is just absolutely immense. So I'll just show you a demonstration. Enemy 1 equals this, and then we're going to attack. We're going to attack. How do we do this? We do it like this. Enemy enemy 1 dot attack, and then have the brackets like that. So that's the command for attack. Hopefully that goes away. Why is it not going away? Enemy 1 dot attack looks correct. It looks correct to me. What's it coming up undefined? Oh, okay, I know why. It's a misspelled enemy. Yen. NY. Again, look, just go through, make sure everything's spelled correctly. If you miss anything in Python, it'll just come up as a massive error. So this debugging is a really, really important part of this. Enemy 1 dot attack. So I've now stated the attack command. So it's going to take 1 life force. Remember, look, 1 life force from the enemy. So I'll go down to 3, and it'll say help. So if I run it now, help. So it doesn't print. Remember, I've only said print help. I didn't say print check life because I didn't run that command. So I'd have to, let's do it in a more elaborate way. Let's attack him. Enemy 1 dot attack. Again, now my methods are being called. So remember before where methods would come up in previous sessions like this? Now I've created the methods, and it's suggesting what do you want. So this is in Python's memory, and it's calling back the methods you created. So I've created 3 methods here, which is fantastic. So I'm attacking him twice. So that will take 2 life forces away from him, because remember, each attack is -1. So if I run that now, he'll just say help twice, but his life force will be down to 2. Now I can't see his life force because I haven't called the command check life. Now if I do it like this, I'm going to create a second one first, and you'll see why in a second. Enemy 2 equals enemy. Again, double N, get rid of all those. Yeah, that's correct. So now I've got 2 objects. So again, enemy 2 also calls this information in. But I'm not going to attack enemy 2. So enemy 2's life force is going to remain at 4. And enemy 1's life force is going to be knocked down to 2. So you should have, it'll be help, help, 2, 4. So help, help, because he's been attacked twice there. And his life force, because the next thing I'm going to say is enemy enemy 1 dot, again, call it check life. Check life is my method. Should be fine. Why is it complaining? It's gone. So sometimes it stays there for a second. So enemy 1 dot check life, and then enemy 2 dot check life. So again, I'm attacking only enemy 1. I'm not attacking enemy 2. So this should call, because I've written help there, it should say help, help, because you've been attacked twice, and then I'm calling check life. So you'll see 2 for the first enemy. Because the second enemy is down there, you'll see 4 because he's not been attacked. So if I run this, help, help, 2 life left, 4 life left. So if I changed this and said enemy 1, I'll just copy and paste it because it's just blinking easier. Paste it and change this to enemy 2. So if enemy 2 got attacked once, it will now say help, 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 2 life left, 3 life left, because the enemy 2's been attacked once. And there we go. Help, help, help. So help, help is coming from enemy 1, and then the last help is coming from enemy 2 because he's been attacked once. Enemy 2 dot attack, that means attack him. And then check life for enemy 1, check life for enemy 2, 2 life left because he was attacked twice. And then enemy 2 was attacked once, so it's life left 3. If I were to attack enemy 1, let's say 5 times, So he's been attacked. He should say, as with this, I'm dying. And there we go. I'm dying because I've attacked him. I've taken all his energy away, and now I'm dying. So this print statement comes up. So again, that's your first object orientated session. I'm getting close now to doing the neural networks. There's a whole bunch of things I haven't gotten into that I need to get into, but what I'll probably start doing is just showing the basic principles of neural networks, how to start initializing some of the mathematics, some of the how to randomize your initial states and things like that, how to call things from NumPy. And then as things that you need that I've missed from Python become clear, I'll give you some additional sessions and I'll basically give you some refreshers. So this is just like the very, very basic level of Python that you need to be able to do a neural network, and it's not even exclusive. There's more things like I have to teach you, but I can do that along the way. Anyway, one more time, you're going to see the little pop-up subscribe button in 3, 2, 1, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that, and get ready for the next one.